Get things kicked off here in just a moment with the band coming out to lead us in a few songs. The lyrics will be up on the screen so you can sing along and engage in our experience with us. After that, one of our pastors will come out to share a great message. All in all, we'll be here for just about an hour. If you have kids with you, we want to let you know that we've got fantastic kids programming happening throughout the entire service. It's safe, it's secure, and most importantly, your kids are going to have a blast. There's still time to check them in. Just head to the kids area past the lobby. A volunteer would love to help check your child in. With all of that being said, we're going to kick things off here in just a minute. Find your seats if you haven't already, and we'll get started shortly.
Well, hey guys, welcome to Fountain Springs. We're so glad you're here with us. If you would, go ahead and stand to your feet as we sing a few songs together today. Sing about the unrelenting love that God has for us. That's the heart of a father. Let's sing this out today. Sing salvation sounds. Salvation sounds a new beginning. Distant hearts begin believing. Redemption's bid is unrelenting. Your love goes on. Your love goes on. So you carry us. You carry us. Carry us when the world cover us with your endless grace. Your love is relentless. Your love is relentless. Your love is relentless. Your love is relentless. The time is up for chasing shadows. You gave the world a light to follow. He's the only hope, a hope that shines beyond tomorrow. Your love goes on. Yeah, lift it up. Your love goes on. Carry us when the world gives way. Cover us with your endless grace. Love is relentless. Love is relentless. Love is relentless. That we sing today. He loves us unconditionally with the heart of a father that would tear through any obstacle to reach us where we are. Let's sing this out. Tearing through the veil. Tearing through the veil of darkness. Breaking every chain you set us free. Fighting for the furthest heart you gave your life. For all to see, tearing through the veil of darkness, breaking every chain you set us free, fighting for the furthest part you gave your life. Love is relentless. Love is relentless. Love is let's keep it going. Come on, let's get this going. Let's keep singing about what Christ has done in our lives. In tenderness, He saw us, weary and sick with sin, and on His shoulders brought us back to His fold again. Keep it going. While angels in His presence sing, unto the courts of heaven reign. Oh, the Lord that saw us. Oh, the blood that brought us. Oh, the grace that brought us to the fold of God. All right, let's hear it. Come on. Grace that brought us to the fold of God. What He did. He died for us while we were sinning, needy and poor and blind. Yes, He did. He whispered to assured us, I found thee, thou art mine. We've never heard a sweeter voice. It makes our aching hearts rejoice. Oh, that's us. Oh, the blood that brought us. Oh, the grace that brought us to the fold of God. Grace that brought us to the fold of God. Sing upon His grace, we'll daily ponder and sing anew His praise. Yes, we will. With all adoring ones of earth, His blessings we retrace. It seems as if eternal days are far too short to sing His praise. Oh, the love that saw us. Oh, the blood that brought us. Oh, the grace that brought us to the fold of God. All right, let's hear it. Come on. Grace that brought us to the fold of God. All right, let's sing it one more time. Oh, the love. Oh, the love that saw us. Oh, the blood that brought us. Oh, the grace that brought us to the fold of God. All right, one more time, nice and loud. Come on. Grace that brought us to the fold of God. Amen. Yeah. Well, today we are continuing in our series, Who is Jesus? And we're talking about Jesus as our shepherd. And we just sang a song that says that grace brought us back to the fold of God. And Pastor David is actually going to unfold what that looks like and to be protected by God and to be protected by Jesus. And I just want us to read from Luke chapter 15. Luke 15 is where we get our values as a church: love, give, go. And I just thought it would be great for us to, as we truly seek to understand the meaning behind this parable, just to read it straight from Jesus Himself through His teachings. So I would love for us to read this on our own together today. I spoke a word. Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. Sing it out. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Believe it today, come on. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. No, there's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, God. never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. Keep singing that. You're never gonna let me down. 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 No, you're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. You are good, good. Oh, 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 you're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. No, you're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. Amen. Can we thank God for that? For his goodness and his faithfulness? Thank you guys so much for singing with us. You can go ahead and have a seat.
Here at Fountain Springs, we embrace irrational generosity. We believe in that so much that we made it a core value of ours. This means that it is core to every decision we make, every program that we fund, and every issue that we face. We model our church after the ministry that Jesus lived, and that's compassion, and compassion for all. We are placed in the beautiful and amazing Black Hills, and so this region is our place of ministry. We believe we must be a church for the community, not just in it, and this must include not only our time, but also our resources. Over the past 5 years, we've given $1.1 million right back into our local community because sharing the love of Christ means bringing help and hope to people in need by partnering with community organizations, nonprofits, and education centers. Weekly, about 50 inmates have and continue to experience the radical grace of God through our prison location by gathering and in recovery groups. Also, by focusing on opportunities that span the globe through the generosity of Fountain Springs, we've given just over $250,000 into helping fight poverty, provide crisis relief, and bring freedom to the oppressed outside of our own country. And through that impact, it's been incredible to see what a community of faith can do to help communities and individuals move from relief and reconstruction to thriving sustainability. You may be asking, but why give to a church? And we completely understand that. The first time you give, there may be some questions or even hesitations. And we want you to know that we honor your gifts with faithful stewardship, ethical business practices, and full accountability, so that the financial integrity of our church and your gifts remains beyond reproach. We would love to give you the opportunity right now to join with us, to give towards making tangible and redemptive change in the lives of people next door, in our community, and across the globe. To make it even easier, you've got options. When you're deciding how to give at Fountain Springs today, you can give in person, online, and even on your phone. We are so excited to see what God can and will do through you and your generosity today.
So as a church, we've been honed in on a conversation about Jesus. That mounts like, okay, yeah, it's church, so we're talking about Jesus. But we've been actually going after the life of Jesus, learning about what do we really need to know about Jesus. Now, I need to not pause that, but take you, kind of go fast forward and tell you something it's on the way. If you are a calendar person, you should get this on the calendar. Easter is on the way. I know some of you are like, no. So as a church, we of course celebrate Easter. It's a big deal. It's about Jesus, and you need, though, to know that we do tickets. Now, some of you are like, all right, selling tickets to church is just the devil's way, right? No, we don't sell the tickets. We want to make sure that everyone has a seat. So that we can make sure that everyone who goes to a service, you don't show up and be like, hey, where'd all the seats go? You need to get your tickets. So this is the save the date kind of a thing, like, hey, lock it in. Don't miss it. Some of you are like, yeah, I'll remember that later. Don't remember it later. Like now, here's your save the date, Easter. Got it? I'm going to be there. I hope you'll be there. Okay, maybe you will. I don't know. So let's talk, though, about Jesus, because we're talking about on Easter. In fact, the way I want to talk about Jesus, I got to rewrite the Bible. So I'm just prefacing that because some of you are like, that's what people call heretics when people do that. But just, I rewrote a portion of the Bible to help us understand how big of a deal Jesus is. I hope you believe that Jesus is a big deal. But I rewrote some stuff, and then I'll fix it. For those of you who are like, how dare you? Here's what I rewrote. I call it the revised version of Psalm 23. I am my own shepherd. I don't have what I need. I get so little rest. I have no peace. I feel weak. And every parent said, amen. I'm going in all the wrong directions. When I do go, it's so scary and I'm afraid. I feel all alone, like nobody's with me. I have lots of threats with nobody fighting for me. My enemies are winning. I'm mocked, belittled. Nobody sees me as significant. I'm empty. I mean, it doesn't get more depressing than that. And no, that's not in the Bible. So if those of you are like, that's not the version I've got. I know. I rewrote it and took something out. Psalm 23 is a pretty familiar, pretty popular psalm in the Bible. But if we're going to talk about Jesus, sometimes if you've ever been in a situation, and I hate to bring up bad memories, I apologize, where you didn't know what you had until you lost it. Sorry for those of you like, yes, I know, she was the one. But most of us have been there. You didn't know what you had until you gave it up. That's why I rewrote that. So let me take you to the one that's really in the Bible. Like, this is the legit one. The Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength. He guides me along right paths, bringing honor to his name. You see how much this is you're like, this is going better. I like this. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid. That sounds awesome. For you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. You prepare a feast for me in the presence of my enemies. You honor me by anointing my head with oil. My cup overflows with blessings. Surely your goodness and unfailing love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will live in the house of the Lord forever. I mean, I'll let you just mentally, don't not out loud, but here, I'll let you choose one. Here's what I know. There's one you like, right? And frankly, there's one, though, that maybe we identified with. The first one I read, you're like, yeah, that's not in the Bible. But that's how I feel. You ever been there where you're like, you feel like you have so many threats and no one's helping out? You ever feel like you're walking through a dark valley all by your stinking self, and like life is all up to you, and it feels dark and tough, and like there's torment, and like you're just fighting. Yeah, most of us have felt that way. And there's a problem. There's a problem because you need a shepherd. I mean, you heard it when I read you the correct one, that there's this shepherd, you need a shepherd. You need to know why you need a shepherd. I'll go to the New Testament. This is Jesus talking about shepherd stuff. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. The thief. Bad news for you and bad news for me. You have a thief trying to take you down. Yay. This is like the most positive message I've ever spoken, right? You're like, oh, wow. You have a thief trying to take you out, hurt you. Now listen, many of us are like, I know. That's why we just got cameras and an attack dog and new locks and we're ready, right? I get it. Well, I want to bring up here the profound thing that we're learning. You need a shepherd because you need protection, and you know that already. That's not like, well, no, you know that. My question is, are you actually fighting this? Are you letting Jesus get into your life? Or you're like, no, I got this problem, David, so I'm going to take it on. Have you ever been there before? Where all of a sudden you hear bad news and you're like, all right, I got to fix it. Or you know somebody in your life you can fix it and it's not Jesus, so you just try to fix it. Stressful. Jesus says he's the good shepherd. He'd like to be involved in your life. I wonder in the midst of this series if you're allowing Jesus to actually be your shepherd. It can feel antiquated, meaning that when you hear Jesus is the good shepherd, many of us have heard that so much, you're like, yeah, that's kind of old. I don't even know what livestock do. And I grew up in the city, David. We didn't have sheep in the house. I get that. Same here. There's a lesson for you. Let's learn it. So when Jesus is talking about the shepherd, I am the good shepherd. He claims it. If you want to know, like, who is he? He is. I am the good shepherd. Many of us are fighting this. Like, are you letting me be the good shepherd? Now here, the good shepherd sacrifices his life for the sheep. We got rather intense really quickly. Jesus just said, yeah, I'm your shepherd, and I sacrifice my life for you. He's like, well, what's going on? It's that threat stuff. Let's keep reading, and this will make sense. A hired hand will run when he sees a wolf coming. Think about when you had your first part-time job and you all of a sudden had a problem. Many of us are like, I don't need this job. I'm going to go now. This is right here. He will abandon the sheep because they don't belong to him. And he isn't their shepherd. If you're new to the Bible, you're like, man, the Bible's confusing. Here, don't let it be confusing. Jesus is saying who he is by who this guy isn't. He will abandon the sheep because they don't belong to him and he isn't their shepherd. And so the wolf attacks them. Scatters the flock. Don't miss that. The wolf is trying to scatter the flock. The hired hand runs away because he's working only for the money and doesn't really care about the sheep. Scatters the flock. Now, I'm going to save you. For those of you who are alarmed, is he about to show us a video of a lion going after a little baby deer? No. Thought about it, though. But no. Because you got it already, don't you? You already got it. Sorry for the middle, but you're like, you got the picture, though. That's, by the way, the tactic of this wolf. The tactic of the wolf. Who's the wolf? The devil. The tactic is to get us isolated. The devil wants you isolated. So I want to bring this up because I think it's worth bringing up. When you and I think about a threat trying to kill us and destroy us, like the Bible says, and we think about this wolf, we're like, this is intense, and it feels like this physical battle. Here, I'm telling you, I'm not convinced that the number one thing the devil's trying to do to you is physical. I'm pretty sure it's up here. If you're anything like me, the battles mostly happen here. Where you walk through the day, you live the day, and you battle up here. You have an encounter with someone that begins like, you think that they don't like you, and that begins to mess with you. Or you have this thing, you look in the mirror, and you're like, you don't like what you see, so you begin to devalue yourself. If you used to have dreams, but you don't have dreams anymore, a vision for life, for focus, and you find yourself going, I'm just thinking a lot all day long about stuff that's like tormenting me. Do you know that's a form of isolation? Have you ever been in a setting, maybe church, and your mind wasn't there? Your mind was more on a problem or a situation, a circumstance that you're wrestling with. You ever been amongst a group of people yet being isolated up here? I'm telling you, we're all fighting this, and the devil's trying to get you and I away from what's really going on, what should be going on, what we should be dwelling on, and getting us off, because once you're isolated, that's the final step. Did you know that? That's the final step before destruction, is to get you so isolated no one can help. You probably remember a guy by the name of John McCain. I'm not getting political for those of you like, oh no. No. I'm not asking if you loved his politics, but I think most of us remember him as a politician, right? John McCain, at some point, he even ran for president, all that kind of stuff. And even if you don't pay attention to politics, you probably have heard of John McCain. And if you're really new, you think that that's like his whole life was as a politician. Well, I can go way, way back early on in his history, where John McCain was a prisoner of war. And if you don't know the circumstances, I can tell you what was happening to him. He details it. He was brutally beaten over and over and over again. What's on record is that both of his legs were broken, his arm was broken. This is just one example of somewhat of what they were doing to his body. I don't know if you've ever imagined this. Maybe you don't want to, and I understand that, of being a prisoner of war where someone over and over would hurt you and hurt you and hurt you and hurt you, not waiting for anything to heal up or anything, but would hurt you over and over, right? It's horrible when you think about it. I don't know if you ever wondered what his thoughts were. What you need to know about his time as a POW, he wasn't just physically abused. They put him in isolation after the beatings, over and over and over and over again. Many of us see a picture like this and say, that's horrible, right? That's the worst. Well, I got to show you what John McCain said was the worst. Isolation crushes your spirit. Right now, if you're living an isolated thinking process all the time, if you're fighting and battling all up here and no one really knows what you're really battling, you're not seeking any kind of help or intervention in this, and we'll talk about the Good Shepherd. Do you see what it's doing to your spirit? I would agree with it. Isolation crushes your spirit and weakens your resistance. It sounds, if you don't know, he's not talking about us and the devil and fighting the devil, but I'm telling you that if you're all up here, it gets more and more difficult to fight temptation. Isolation crushes your spirit and weakens your resistance more effectively than any other form of mistreatment. Wait a minute. Said by a guy who was brutally beaten. Think about this. I'm not asking you to adopt all of the politics that he was about, but you need to lean into a guy who was a prisoner of war and was isolated and physically beaten and go, whoa, wait a minute, maybe isolation has some power. That's dangerous. I read some other things about POWs. If you don't know this, Katie's grandpa was a POW. And so it's been of interest to us to know what they went through. And what they have proven now, if you don't know this, is the isolation that they make POWs encounter. They have proven that the same amount of damage is done to their brain in isolation as if they had actual physical head trauma. It is proven that isolation will destroy your spirit and actually destroy you. So this is why I tell you, this is what the devil's trying to get us isolated. I'm not inviting you into, hey, you need to go make some best friends really fast. That's good. What I'm trying to lean into you and ask is, who's in your head? Who's dominating your thoughts? Who's leading your thoughts? What are you doing about your thoughts? We need a good shepherd. So let's look at what Jesus said. I tell you the truth. I am the gate for the sheep. You're not as moved by this as I am. Okay. Listen. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. Because we see gate, and I don't know if your mind goes to it. Mine does immediately. So he says he's the gate. So he's like a wooden door with a latch on it. Thanks. It's bigger than that. You ever thought, like, I don't know, your process of thinking about Jesus is, hey, yeah, cool, he saved me. I'll see him after I die someday. Many of us, we disconnect from Jesus, and we think that the conversation about Jesus is only about our future eternity. So that's what we dwell on him about it. We're like, we hope he's going to be there. No, he's saying, no, right now, I'm your gate. I'm your gate right now. Let me help you understand this, and hopefully this will plug it in. If you've never seen a sheepfold, this is a good example. Most shepherds were dirt poor. They didn't get a chance to go to Lowe's or Menards and buy the nice fences and stuff. No, they would go and gather stuff, whatever they could gather, and they would make a sheepfold. And you're like, and here's where the gate goes. And it's like, oh, is that when he goes and finds the even bigger ones and puts it? No, this is the gate. This is not the wrong picture. You're like, where's the door? No, remember, he said he was the gate. Which means this is how this works. The shepherd would lead the sheep in here, and then he would quite literally, sit there as the physical gate. There was no additional, like, I'm going to build. No, he would sit there. This is why this is profound for you and I. He's saying, I'm not going to leave you in the midst of even this moment. For a threat to get into the sheepfold, do you see the threat would have to literally go through the shepherd? I mean, it's one thing for us to think that Jesus is like, hey, I'm the gate, I closed it, locked it, see you later, right? No. Why that you and I need to understand what Jesus says about himself is that when you live life and you're walking through some dark moments and tough moments and things that you don't like and that you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, he's right there with you. He's right there trying to fight off the threat, and he's also trying to keep you into the fold. You would have to bypass him too. This is big for you and I to understand. He loves you. He hasn't left you. In this life right now, he wants to walk with you. Let me take you back to what I read earlier. I read the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. We're like, wow, that's intense. Here's what he says. I've come that they may have life and have it abundantly. Now, sometimes people misinterpret, oh, he wants me to be filthy rich. That sounds awesome. No, that's not at all what he's saying, actually. Here. For those of you who like to cook, I don't at all, nor should I ever cook. Here's what this is, from what I'm told, is you measure things with this, right? I'd need some feedback here because okay. So let's look at this as expectations. Some of you don't follow the directions, which I'm not looking at any one person and be like hating on you, whatever. But I'm just saying sometimes we're like, oh, the directions, those are suggestions. Maybe I'll get to it. But no, this is designed so that you can make something based on the directions and you can have expectations set that in theory, what you see the picture of, that's how it's going to turn out. Yeah? Well, this is how our thoughts work. You walk into situations and you're like, this is what I expect, and I think that if I get this, then this is how life is going to turn out. So we fill it to the line, we do what we think what we're going to think, and we line up and we're like, this is expectations. That is not the best version of life, just so you know. See, what Jesus is telling us is I want life for you abundantly. Which, just to give you a visual, he's saying that I want life to be more like this for you. I want you to go beyond the measure, beyond the expectation. Now, don't misinterpret this as his only desire in all of your life is that you be filthy, filthy rich. It's not that. Let me read to you the definition because I think it's a big deal. Let me find it. Here, exceeding the measure. It's actually a cooking term. exceeding the measure. When you go to work, do you go to work with just your expectations of, I know what they're going to say to me, I know what they're going to think? When you go to school, it's like, oh, I know what's going to happen and it's going to produce such and such. Jesus is saying, I have a life for you and it's absolutely amazing. You're going to thrive in this. This is going to be good. It's not going to be easy. Don't forget, I'm going to walk you through the dark valley and all that kind of stuff. But he's saying, I want your thoughts to be good thoughts. Imagine you used to have dreams, hopes. When you walked into a relationship, maybe when it launched, you're like, this is going to be good, this is going to be good, and then it ended up not being good. Here's the lesson. Your heart and mind need a gatekeeper, and that's why you need a good shepherd. You need a gatekeeper. And for those of you like, but I'm a good one. I love you. But you're not the